Alright, Roz back with mtgnoob, and here we are in round 3. So we had a great start, and we are treated to a absolutely horrible hand. Or I should say that the hand is amazing if it had lands in it, but it doesn't. So we've got a turn 3, 4, and 5 play and 3 lands, so it's not terrible. So the mold of 6 is fine. We've got a Hellraiser Goblin. We've got some pretty decent creatures, and he starts off with a Basilicus creature. Good card. Really enjoy that guy for Orzhov. A 1/2 isn't like something that you really need to worry about, like, in most instances, but with Orzhov, when it allows you to get that early extort, it's just incredible. So swinging in for 1, not seeing anything there, so I'm thinking that he probably has some sort of way to counter my spell. So I try and decide if I want the Hellraiser Goblin or the Warmind Infantry countered, and I felt like I wanted the Goblin almost countered more. So I put it down, but he allowed it out, and then he throws down the Corpse Blockade. Corpse Blockade is okay. I don't know if that guy's amazing. It's really good when you can get something like a Mortis Strider or something out. I throw down the Guildgate because I want to put out the Warmind Infantry, and that's pretty sweet. So we're going to get a little bit of early damage in. He's got no mana up, and I doubt he's going to go ahead and sacrifice that Basilicus creature to kill one of my guys. So we get in for an early 2 damage, and then he draws a Hands of Binding. And that is really fantastic. That's just so timely, because it allows him essentially to swing in, tap down 2 of my dudes, and get a double helping of Extort. And that's just so good. So he can go ahead and tap down both of my guys, and that's exactly what you want to do against Boros, especially to stop the really aggressive start. Not like my start was super aggressive, but just in any instance when you're against an aggressive deck. Excuse me. Towering Thunderfist. Looking good. Can't give him Vigilance, but it's not a big deal. I need to start laying down that damage, or we're just going to die to Extort. So getting in for the 4 there, feeling pretty good. Got the Cinder Elemental potentially coming up, and that's really bad for me because that is the Mortis Strider. And that is exactly what he needs, essentially, to sack every turn to be able to kill something with the Corpse Blockade. Like, the one benefit right now is that if he blocks the Towering Thunderfist or the Warmind Infantry, then they will kill his Corpse Blockade as well. But there's really no reason for me not to swing. I have to get in there with the Goblin, and he's going to kill the Goblin with the Corpse Blockade, and that sucks, and I don't like it, but it's kind of like, I'm okay with it, I guess, because this way, at least now with that Goblin off the board, I don't have to worry about walking into something really bad. And I had to make a decision between Fortress Cyclops or the Cinder Elemental, but in the end, since that Goblin is out, no matter what, they had to turn sideways to attack anyway. So that's fine, I guess. And if I got the Cinder Elemental out, I could have gotten him out, but I wouldn't have been able to do enough damage to actually get rid of the Basilicus creature, which is really what I need to start doing. So he does what I figured he would do. He go ahead and blocks the Cyclops with the Mortis Strider to stop the most amount of damage, and then he just sacks it to the Corpse Blockade and kills my dude. So I'm having a real problem now. Like, I'm getting somewhere, but this Hands of Binding, tapping, extorting stuff is just getting really bad, and we're not seeing any muggings or anything, which is all I need to take care of that stupid Screecher. But so now he has a second Screecher, and there's the Mortis Strider as well, so now he's going to be double extorting me with whatever he plays. So I can throw down the Cinder Elemental, but I know it's probably just going to get tapped. It was between that and Assemble the Legion, and I don't really know which one may have been better, because at this point, I'm hurting really bad, because no matter what he plays, he's extorting for potentially 2, and then he's swinging for at least 2 in the air and tapping something down. So he gets a really good card for just finishing me off, Shadow Slice, and this is why I hate that card, because it can come out of nowhere and just totally win the game. So with the Extort and the aerial damage and the double hit from the Shadow Slice, he can go ahead and get me to, I think, -1 at the end, because he will get to Extort off of both of those triggers as well. And the Dimir Orzhov is just so powerful, and I always thought that if people thought like Dimir was really weak, if it was like maybe like a 3 or a 4, And Orzhov is like pretty powerful, I would say. Orzhov is what, maybe like a 7 or an 8. Together, they're like a 12. Every time I've seen someone get a good deck with both of those colors, it's just done really well. So here, looking at a decent start. At the very least, we have the Guild Mage and we have a Hellraiser Goblin. Didn't actually see like a lot of removal from him last time, so I feel pretty good about that. But I know that we have to win fast, because if he starts getting the extort online really quickly, we're just going to lose, just because of the amount of flyers and the lack of stuff that I was drawing to deal with flyers. We do have 2 flyers of our own, but we didn't even see them at all. So playing out the Guild Mage, getting devoured. That's kind of unfortunate. We'll get out a Goblin, so I'll have 2 damage coming at him right away, and we'll be at 22. But that's still not good enough, because I really need a turn 4 play, and I need him to not play anything good. So I draw another Hellraiser Goblin, and I don't think that there's any way he can't block this, because he knows I'm a battalion deck, or I assume he knows I'm a battalion deck because we had the Warmind infantry last time. So he pretty much has to block here, and that's fine for me. Syndic of Ties is a really good creature, and it's good not to have that kind of extort on the board, but then he immediately gets out a Basilicus creature and a Dutiful Thrall, and that's a problem. Dutiful Thrall against my deck is really good, because essentially he can stop my creatures with that Dutiful Thrall no matter how big they are, unless I have some way to trample or deal aerial damage, and we're just not drawing those flyers. So there's still ways that I can come back as long as I keep drawing some decent creatures, but you're going to kind of see in a minute here that things are going to go downhill very quickly. So I'm drawing land, and he gets a Call of the Nightwing, and that is just fantastic, because now he can block with a Call of the Nightwing and a Dutiful Thrall if he wants, and just kill my Hellraiser Goblin. So he'll get essentially to just trade off like one of the triggers of his Call of the Nightwing and then kill my Goblin, and that's pretty bad. And that's pretty much exactly what he's going to do. So again, there's tons of cards that get us out of this. Maybe something like a Mugging or anything would be nice, but I just draw more land. So I have to swing in here, so I do. But he has plenty of chumps to deal with my problem, so he can just throw 1 dude in front of my Cyclops and 2 dudes in front of my Hellraiser Goblin. And he still has enough mana to regenerate his Dutiful Thrall. So that's pretty much what's going to happen here. So right now, and I could feel it coming. I was like, man, this is like all these cards that he has. These aren't like incredible bomb rares or anything like that. But the Orzhov Dimir together like this is just amazing. And now to have this Basilicus creature essentially just like whittling me down, just this one creature, creating all kinds of tokens on the board and getting him life gain, and then me just drawing more land is terrible. So I think that I could definitely come back from this still, but I really need to stop drawing land, and he really needs to stop drawing amazing creatures. The Daring Skyjack is a really weird card to have in his Orzhov Dimir, but I mean, it's good no matter what. Like, I would have picked that card up, so I hate him for taking that card from me. In case you were wondering there, we just drew more land. So I don't know how many turns that's been now that we've just been drawing land. I don't know if anyone's keeping track. But, so here comes the Flying Brigade. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. All I have is this Cyclops, and it's like I could turn him sideways and swing with him, but he could just block with the Thrall and regenerate it. So a little bit more extort, a little bit more of the Nightwing creature tokens on the board. He's going to go ahead and get more of his life gain there, and what do you know, more land. So at this point, I was like, hey, GG, the game's pretty much over. I mean, I wanted to finish it out just to see if maybe in the last instance I could draw a card that did something, and he pretty much knows that he's got this game on wrap. So he can go ahead and swing for a bajillion in the air here, and there's nothing I can do about it. He's swinging. I mean, it's not like he's dealing huge damage, but it is like a bunch of 1/1s in that 3/1, and that's just so bad. So he'll go ahead and get more extort on, and I can't even remember if he just kills me this turn with like more extort, or if I wait until my next turn and see like another land come my way. I know I never drew a card. I know I never drew another playable card until the end of the game. Okay, so it was. So one more land there. So I don't know how many turns that was. Flooded out. There's nothing we can do about that. That's Magic for you. So how did I feel about the deck overall? I love the deck. I think the deck was great. It's just that in the end game there, the first game he got some really great stuff, and I just kind of got like the stuff I had just couldn't deal with it, and he had stuff that could kind of deal with what I had, like the Mortar Stride or Corpse Blockade. But that second game, there was nothing I could do. We were just drawing nothing. But I really loved the deck, and I would have really liked to get to the finals with that deck. I had fun playing that deck. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and this is Roz with the MTG Noob, and I'll see you guys next time.